When last we left off, the party had been doing some work around town, and some of the party had split off to buy Tempest the God some gear in the market, and the others split off to head to City Hall because they have very important discussions that they need to have with one of the counselors. So I believe we finished off at the market last time. So remind me who was heading up to City Hall.
Me.
I don't remember exactly, but I think that it was me and old Knell went to go get the gear, and I think Tia and Sparky were going up to the thing, and I can't remember where Ulnan was going.
I was trying to broker our trading for the gear, and not as successful as I would have liked being a merchant.
Right, that's right.
And I'm going to have a hard time having enough conversations for the council stuff tonight.
Okay, we can try to keep that side of things short and sweet then for you.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay, so
even just that, to a coughing frenzy.
Oh, looks like we lost. There he is. Tia, you head into City Hall, and you find that I believe it's early in the day yet, so it's fairly quiet, but you can see that there is a short lineup of people who are waiting to address the counselors that are in today.
She understands how lines work. It's short. She'll stand in line.
Anybody interesting in line?
That depends on who you find interesting.
He finds everybody interesting at this point in time.
Well, you can see that there is a gnome standing in line. He keeps casting glances at a couple of halflings who are sitting on a bench off to the side. And there is also... no, that's it for waiting in line, actually. There's only the one person in front, and there's someone in the council chamber right now.
But he's glancing at gnomes on the bench?
Halflings.
I mean, unless you want to start some trouble, I'm good to just wait patiently.
Yeah, short line. You're here with her? That's excellent. You can talk.
Okay. So you guys stand in line, not doing anything of particular interest, and time goes by, and the door opens, and a tall human figure walks out, a frown on his face as he leaves the council chamber, and the gnome calls over to the halflings and says, I won't be long, and runs into the room. The door is closed behind him by a guard. Again, some time passes, and the door opens, and the gnome comes out, head hanging low, to go walk over to the halflings. And it's your turn to enter the chamber.
What did the gnome look like when he came out?
You can give me an insight check. The gnome looks a combination of sad and worried as he heads over to the halflings.
As he's walking by, maybe just toss him a gentle, is it a tough crowd today there, mate?
Oh, I hadn't really... I don't know what I expected, honestly. What can you do with this sort of situation? And he continues off.
Shall we?
Inside the chamber, you find 3 council members. The first appears to be human. The second is a goblin. And the third, an elf. And they are sitting back in their seats. There are 7 seats total. They are seated in the middle 3, and they're chatting with each other while they wait.
Okay, so we haven't met any of these three. I took notes on them, but I don't have access to those notes right now. So I think with a rousing "G'day, mate," we'll walk up to the bench.
When?
We probably would have discussed this outside. Does Tia want to go first?
No, she wants to go second, and she'll curtsy as she approaches.
Then old Knell will take the lead and will say, I don't know if you would have heard from your August colleagues, but we've been here not that long ago. We had brought warning of an attack on the city and prevented some aquatic elves from doing damage to your dam. Does that get any kind of reaction out of them?
Yes. The elven lady nods her head to you appreciatively and says, "Yes, Torgan and Belinius did speak of your heroics, and we thank you so much on behalf of the city and all of its people for your good works."
Well, we come before you today with grim tidings of the days to come. My companion, nodding at Tia, has a bit of an awkward request for you, and we have some news and warnings for you. So, what would you like to handle first? The big news or the small news?
The goblin smiles a big smile and says, "Hey, let's handle some big news. Haven't had enough of that this morning."
Would you like to know what that meteor shower was and what it foretells for the city of Nordgard?
All three of them lean forward as you say that, looks of interest on their faces.
Okay, without too much ado, old Knell will just tell them basically what Tempest has told us, that the meteor shower was a presage of the Gods' War, and that some of those meteors were gods falling to the earth. Some of them were gods' tools and items falling to earth. And he'll just simply shrug and say, I'm afraid we don't have a lot of proof. And a lot of this is coming secondhand from one of the people who is, in fact, claiming to be a deity. But from what we've seen, we have reason to believe him. He fell to the earth. We found him in a crater created by his impact. And he knows things, arcane secrets and pieces of history that he shouldn't. And we'll give them a brief rundown of the fact that there were 3 gods in their city, that one of them has already fallen due to uncertain circumstances, and that our group is looking to take one of them out of the city, but that there is still one running around inside of your city. And I'm going to give them a brief description of that god, as well as his people that are accompanying him and spiriting him away. Take that, other group. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, we'll give them the rundown on the Gods' War, and old Nell's just going to sort of finish with, I recognize that this might seem to be a little bit beyond the capacity of yourselves as local government officials, but you really need to be prepared for the future of what this could bring. It can, in some ways, it's going to be like a gold rush, with people suddenly hunting for treasures and the powerful tools that these gods' artifacts represent coming to Earth. Maybe you're going to find charlatans selling fake items in the marketplace. Maybe you're going to have somebody who has a wand that can turn your bones to cotton candy, using it all willy-nilly on his neighbors who he doesn't like. But you, as the governing officials, need to be forewarned and forearmed when it comes to taking care of the people of your city. This is dangerous. For our part, we are going to be leaving the city to try and do what we can to intervene. And I think that we've got a good handle on trying to respond to at least some of the deities that we've met so far, he says completely unironically. But just be forewarned. There are big things moving out there. So, any questions before we get on to the little news?
The elven counselor says, "Oh, it's a pity Torgan isn't here. He is much more interested in religious ideology than most. I had heard some whispers of these strange comings and goings. So your news is not an entirely large shock to me. And you note that the human at her side doesn't appear to be paying much attention at all. And the goblin is still paying attention, perhaps not fully, maybe a little bit inside his own head right now. But the elf continues and says, I wonder if this is tied to that first case we heard this morning. It appears that there has been some trouble in town. One of our city guard has gone missing. A patrolman for the west end of town. Very curious case. No further information on it at this time, but it is unusual for any city guards to disappear. So we are sending some resources to look into this. As for the death of a god, you say, we did have some members of the church in here speaking with us earlier as well, who stated that a band of people were supposed to take the corpse of a fallen woman from the clinic to their temple and never showed up. So we will be keeping an eye out for that as well. We told them to send word to the city guard, so I don't know if any of this is tied together, but there are a great many strange things happening in town right now. It is most curious. And as you say that, as she finishes, the goblin leans forward and he says, so these gods' tools and stuff you're talking about, if someone was to get their hands on one of them, I bet they're worth a pretty penny, eh?
I would imagine so. So we have been told.
They also may make you a target of the god in question.
But maybe I could, swing a deal with some god if I found their stuff. Or, I mean, if someone found their stuff.
Could we sense motive that?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Lousy.
I would like to as well.
Lousier.
So, dumb question.
Yep.
If old Knell and I and if we were all off on our own and now old Knell is there, are we reassembled following our shopping sprint?
Oh, old Nell, were you doing shopping with Tempest, or did you go with Tia?
I mean, my thought was that I was going to the market with Tia and Sparky. Or not to the market, but to the city hall with Tia and Sparky.
Okay, I misunderstood that. Good.
That was my mistake. I thought you were coming with us, and I said that earlier.
Ignore me, carry on.
So, how about the small portents of doom and warning then for you?
Certainly.
Well, you have a vampire in your city, and there's a hostile army going to attack you. How's the reaction then?
You can give me 3 insight checks.
Getting all the bad rolls out right first.
I got one good one in there.
Yes, you did. Okay. So the first ones that I see there are a 13 from Tia and a 9 from old Nell. Tia, the human senator or counselor is sitting there, and while it looks like he's looking at you, it's clear that he's not paying any attention at all. So there's his face is blank as this news is said aloud. Again, old Nell with the elven counselor, you don't get anything. Tia, you note that when he mentions the vampire, she gets kind of a frustrated look on her face. And then as the army is mentioned, she kind of shrugs.
So she's not surprised by a vampire in town.
Apparently not. And for the goblin, Old Knell, because you've had some contact with goblins, you do get a bit of a read on him. He is surprised. His eyes open wide at the mention of a vampire. But when you mention an army marching on the city, he kind of leans back, and it's kind of more difficult to read him on that one. But you definitely get the sense that he had no idea there's a vampire in town.
What was the name of the elven counselor?
You haven't asked.
Oh, I thought you told us at the beginning. My apologies.
No, I just said that there's a human, an elf, and a goblin.
Okay, I'll direct my comment to the elf.
For what it's worth, we did get notes from the first time we met with the counselors. I think her name is Philorana.
Is that correct?
The Felania.
Counselor Felania, it appears you're not surprised by the vampire. Are you familiar with him?
At this, she's a little taken aback that you're calling her out on this. And she says, there's, old stories of undead in the city. I can't be terribly surprised that there's stories of a vampire, but it's likely untrue.
I assumed by your demeanor that perhaps it was something that the council knew about, and you had some sort of arrangement. My apologies.
The goblin looks up at Felania and says, "You knew about a vampire in town and you didn't tell us? That's not okay. I gotta watch out for my neck here." And she just kind of shakes her head and rolls her eyes at him. And says, "No, we have no formal arrangements with any undead, if there are such things in the city."
Well,
my misunderstanding.
At the very least, we can guarantee that there is at least one powerful undead in the city, and we're going to explain about, well, at least Old Knell is going to explain about having met Yuri, and that he is the source of this news about the vampire who is currently occupying Yuri's tower. And Old Knell's just going to say, for what it's worth, if I was you, I wouldn't do anything about it just yet. Our group is going to try and take care of the vampire after we do take care of some business outside of town.
Well, we look forward to your future heroics then. Thank you.
Counselor Tarek.
The human just shakes his head as his name is mentioned. Oh, yes. Yes? What can I do for you?
I did have some private questions for you, if you might have time for me.
Oh, yes, please.
I'm not quite sure how to take that. Can I roll insight?
Sure.
I feel like I want to roll insight too.
Go ahead.
But I notice nothing.
Tia, he has been bored as long as you've been in here, and you guess probably long before you got here. So any excuse to leave his duties for a few moments and do anything else, he's happy for that.
Okay, excellent. So whenever is he willing to leave the room with me now for a few moments?
Yes, he is.
Awesome.
Old Knell is going to just nod and to the goblin and say, "No disrespect, counselor, but could Philana and I have the room as well?"
Well, I'm on official time here. I'm not like Tarek here, who will just wander off on his own, willy-nilly whenever he pleases. Don't even know why he bothers coming in. And he's saying this as Tarek is leaving the room with Tia, kind of under his breath, so he won't be heard. It says, you might be able to convince me to leave my post.
I'd consider it a personal favor and would owe you accordingly.
Huh. Are you openly showing that you are a dark elf right now?
Nope, cloaked and veiled.
All right. Give me a persuasion roll. He says, a personal favor from some hooded stranger. I can't even see his face. How would I know who it is that owes me this favor?
I mean, my name is Old Knell, and whether you see my face or not, it's the only name I've got. But, doodly 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 doo 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 doo. Yeah, I don't really have anything of value on my person. Okay, I'll shrug. Lady Philorana, could I lure you away from the chamber then for a quick discussion between you and I?
Certainly. We will take a brief recess before returning to the business of the city. And she stands gracefully from her seat, bows to Bill, the goblin, and makes her way out to follow you and leads you to a secondary chamber. In the meanwhile, Tia,
She's not a keyboard.
Pardon me?
She had to enter the washroom.
Okay, we will do Old Knell first then. Old Knell, you are taken into a side chamber with comfortable couches and seats, and she allows you to enter and then closes the door behind you and says, "Yes, what is it that I can do for you today?"
In Elven, Old Nell's going to just sort of like bow his cowled head, and in Elven is going to say, Sister of the Realms, I greatly appreciate you taking this time to speak with me. A question. What is your affiliation with this inn? And it's the name escapes me right at this second. It's the inn where we went, where Old Knell was treated like royalty. And he's just going to go on to say that your members of the council recommended it to us, saying that you had some affiliation with it. Can you tell me about what that affiliation is?
So that was the Lock and Key Inn.
Yes.
She shrugs and says, "Oh, my father has many dealings across the city. He gifted me the Lock and Key Inn some time ago. Why do you ask?"
I had a rather surprising experience when I went there. I'll say still in Elven. What is your father's name? What is your family's name, if I may ask?
"We are the Sunbeams. My father's name is Quelthan."
Well, I'm afraid that means very little to me. If I share with you a secret, can I ask you for calm?
"There are very few things in this world that can alarm me, Old Knell."
And with that, Old Knell is going to sweep off his cloak and lower his veil, revealing his dark elf features.
Okay. She looks upon you without surprise and says, "Yes, my keen elven vision picked up your features despite your disguise."
What is the status of people like me in this city? How are we regarded? Still in Elven.
"Oh, there aren't people like you in this city."
Respectfully, I know that's not the case.
"Respectfully, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have never seen your kind in this city before."
Then perhaps you could offer some sort of insight or explanation as to why the staff at the inn in which you have part ownership behaved reverently and worshipfully when my identity was slipped to them.
"I honestly have no idea why they would treat you in such a way. The tales that I've heard all speak of dark elves being creatures from far, far away with blackened hearts and unable to speak in a civil tongue as you are. So, before meeting you, I've never met a dark elf."
All insight.
Sorry, it's taking a bit of work to get the push to talk working. And yes, thank you, Jodi. I would like to spend my DM inspiration to roll insight at advantage, please.
Okie doke.
Higher result is a 13.
Oh, I was just looking to see if I had created an NPC character for her to roll from, and I don't see one. That's frustrating. Okay, I'll just do a d20 roll here. You get the feeling that she's not being entirely honest with you.
And I'm just going to cock my head and say, well, perhaps my civilized manner will earn me some grace, and you might consider being a little bit more honest with your elders.
If you were an elder elf, I might take your words into consideration. However, as you are a dark elf, I don't necessarily have to show you the same level of respect as I would my father.
Well, we'll see how that assumption goes. And going to lean in close, and again in Elvish, I'm just going to say sweetly, what is your affiliation with the one known as Heartbane? And I'd like to also get an insight to see what her reaction to that is.
Okay.
You know, one of these days I'm going to roll good.
You don't get a good read on her at all as she looks at you curiously and says, I've not heard that name before. Is it supposed to mean something to me?
Well, I'm surprised that it doesn't, or at the very least that you would say it doesn't. Very well. If you do not wish to speak, then I appreciate your calm and civilized approach to my revelation. I just want to give you the reassurance that I am here to help, and that whatever trouble you and your family might be in, I hope that you know that you may have a friend in me, and that you can call on me and my companions for aid in the trying times ahead of you. And then I'll just give her like a, my rictus smile that, shows off his torn lip, his acid scars on his face, and we'll just say, like, in these trying times, it's going to be very, very important to choose your allies and foes very carefully. And I hope that I can count on your support, just as I hope you'll call on mine. And giving her a courtly bow, I'll reveal my features and get the hell out of Dodge, trying to hide how my knees are knocking and my hands are shaking.
Okay. She smiles at what you say very sweetly and says, yes, every word you said is very, very true. I will keep you in mind, old Knell.
And I'm looking for Tia and Sparky.
All right. So while you were talking to Felania, Tia and Sparky were hanging out with Tarek in another room, equally as well furnished.
Pardon me for bothering you, good sir. I come on a delicate matter. I'm aware that your family has lost the Moonblade. Is that correct?
Yes. Some time ago now, long before I came around.
Would you be willing to tell me all you know about how that happened?
Can you give me a persuasion check, please?
Probably not.
Can I aid her with an intimidation?
Yeah, you can give her aid.
So I roll at advantage?
Sure.
Thank you, that helped a lot.
Wow, did it ever. From a 9 to a 21. I had written this all down at some point, and now I can't find it. My computer is always so...
Well, what good is writing it down if you can't find it?
I know, right? It's just annoying. Okay. Well, I remember the general gists of it. When you ask him to tell you everything, he looks at you curiously, shrugs and says, why not? That was, like I said, a very long time ago. I'm not actually sure how long ago. It's, rather old news. Nobody talks about it much anymore. But from stories I picked up as a young man, there's some division amongst the family when dear old Izmir passed away. A great deal of infighting. I think there were 3 factions of Ordunas, all claiming to be the rightful heir, should receive the sword of the family to show that they're the ruler of yada yada yada. While they were fighting, this is the part that gets a little bit uncertain. While they were all fighting, the sword lay on a table amidst all of them. Things were getting quite heated, and some say that a woman strode into the room. The descriptions of her vary. Some say that she looked sad, some furious. Stories change depending on who tells them, and over time details get fuzzy and whatnot. But she was some silver-haired lady strode into the room and said something along the lines of that none of us were worthy of the sword, and she plucked it up from the table, and it some say that the sword hummed, some say that it sang, some say that it wailed, apparently made some sort of sound as this woman carried it out of the room. And the family, was the first time they had all united in common cause in quite some time. They were all furious at this woman for coming into the manor and stealing our heirloom. The guards attempted to stop her, but she simply brushed them off as though they simply were not there, and continued her way out of the manor and summarily disappeared. Nobody knows where, but that she took the sword with her, and there are some in the family who believe that she will return when someone worthy of the name Orduna steps up. There are some who believe that it will never be brought back to us. There are others who think that perhaps some secret society of elves came in and stole it away to choose a new ruler, and all manner of ridiculous ideas and stories and whatnot. Just as likely none of it's true. Probably someone got drunk and dropped it in the river. Probably not that simple. I mean, people have dredged the river before and never found such an artifact in it, but you know what I mean. Who knows what you can believe from old stories?
Very true. So this lady was Elven.
I'm not really sure. Nobody really gave any details of her lineage beyond they all agreed on the fact that she was silver of hair.
I see. Thank you so much.
Can I roll an insight or a history check on that? Like, would I know anything about it?
We shall see.
Oh, I know nothing.
Would I have any chance of knowing
1.
this from my history, Ryan?
You can give me a history check too. Did you give yourself guidance on that?
No.
Oh, it says plus 1d4.
Because of her calligrapher's tools, she's a scribe wizard.
Oh, okay. So a 15. This is a pretty old history. But you know some pretty old history.
And have special interests in a few topics.
Yeah. You suspect that this silver-haired individual may have been a relation of Ysmir's.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
You know that there were several dragons that she was related to.
And silver-haired would fit.
You can even see a few strands of silver hair in Tarek, even though he is quite young. So it appears that those genes are still there.
Tia, you seem very fixated on this moonblade. Why do you want it?
I'm just interested in history, and she kind of glares at Sparky.
Oh, I just thought this
No,
is the
we
third
don't need to.
occasion.
We don't need to know any more right now. Thank you so much for your interest. We'll chat later.
Oh, okay.
Yes, well, if you do happen to learn more about it and come across it in your travels, I would be happy to take it off your hands and restore the good name Orduna.
I will definitely keep you in mind, and thank you so much for your courtesy today.
Oh, the pleasure was mine. I suppose if our business is at an end, I must return to the council chambers now.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
And you, my lady.
She'll hustle Sparky out of there.
And so far as someone so small can hustle someone so big.
And as we get away from other people, she'll explain that sometimes you don't always want everybody to know what you're interested in.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to step away for another couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
So you guys all meet in the open public space between the chambers, and you see Councillors Felania and Tarek head back to the council chamber. The line has grown since you were there. There's more people waiting now. You see that the gnome is still kind of hovering over the two halflings that are on the bench. They haven't left yet. So you guys meet up.
While we were merchanting, I would like to buy us some food, please.
Yep, no problem. Standard market value in the player's handbook is fine.
Old Knell is going to say to Sparky and Tia, they're all in on it. I shouldn't have did this. I've put us all in grave danger. We need to find the others and get out of this city. And then he's going to nod at the trio, the halflings and the gnome, and he says, unless you want to check in on what they're up to, I think we get out of here right now.
I pull my sword in preparation of battle. I am in a ready stance, and I am eyeing the nearest non-combatant and eyeing him up as assessing him for his tactical threat.
Sparky, you're killing me, mate. Could you put that away and let's walk?
I thought you said there was a threat.
You do see a couple of guards at the doors to the chamber, and they both immediately slam the doors closed and cross halberds and say, "No weapons!"
It's fine. He's foreign. Come on, mate. Put up the blade, please.
Okay, I put it up in the air. Like that?
Rotate it about 180 degrees, point it to the scabbard, and just down. There you go.
He follows instructions. Why didn't you just tell me to sheath it?
Because I'm an idiot with colloquialisms. Let's get out of here.
Oh.
As you guys make your way out of City Hall, it's about the same time that the rest of the party shows up from their shopping trip.
I think that we'll just give you guys the crib notes of, like, the city council is unimpressive, possibly corrupt. The goblin is probably holding on to something valuable, and we should totally burgle him later. Old Knell is just talking a mile a minute. He seems very paranoid and frightened, and he'll sort of give you guys the talk as to what happened and how he was trying to, like, suss out if the town council had anything to do with this crime boss that we've learned is in the city. And he's like, she's in on it. Oh, no, she is. And oh, I've shown her my face. We've got to get out of here.
Sparky will look.
Paranoid. I love that he's so paranoid when he couldn't get a read on her.
Which is the closest direction out of town?
The west gate would be closest.
All right. Then I think we should go west.
Yeah, let's head to the lake and recoup, and maybe we can find some god treasures and blow them all away.
Or use them if they're useful.
All right, Sparky starts. Well, I guess he looks at Tia. I was going to say he starts walking away, but he wouldn't walk away without Tia.
I think we're ready.
And we're walking.
All right, you guys start heading towards the gates of town.
Looking out for any random gods that got away from us already.
That's fair. You guys can give me perception checks as you head out of town.
I'm away from my keyboard and can't roll, so pass.
I'd like to change my dice for something better.
Perception can be
I
done
think I'll
unskilled,
keep
right?
mine.
Yes, perception can be unskilled. And I rolled one for old Knell.
Look at that unskilled that I did.
Oh my goodness, look at you guys. Everybody's so perceptive. It's like you're paranoid as you leave town. Yeah, you don't see any godly figures following you or stalking you through the streets. Nobody seems to be paying you much mind at all, really. And so you make it out of town without issue.
Cool.
What a waste of all those good rolls.
Yeah, I know, right?
As we're rolling out of town, I think old Knell is finally going to calm down a little bit and is going to say, Deacon, I know this is kind of taking you away from the hunt for the man who killed your brother. You sure you're okay with this? You want to keep hanging with us for a time?
Partner, I kind of feel like wherever trouble is, that's where shades will be. Looks like we're heading for trouble.
Sparky will pull his sword again.
I'm gonna, Deacon's gonna reach into it or see that and like shake his head and be like, "Listen, man, you got to calm down a little." I'm gonna hand him a flask that has a couple of ounces of whiskey in it.
He'll look at you kind of quizzically, take it from you, smell it, do this sort of data thing, and then down the whole thing.
I'll take it back and kind of look a little bit, annoyed. Not annoyed, but like, you just drank all my whiskey. I'll be like, "Well, do you feel better?"
I don't know. I'm resistant to poison, but that doesn't make me fully immune.
Nope. I'll get you to give me a con save, please.
Oh, great. Oh, there we go, an 18.
Well, that's pretty good. You down the whiskey. Don't feel any particularly terrible effects.
And
It burns. Alcohol. Good for cleaning grease off of gears and other mechanical devices. I don't know. I fail to see how this is supposed to help.
I'm just going to slap him on the back and laugh and just kind of continue on and ignore the sword in the air or whatever you're holding up.
so Tia will have, as we're traveling, she'll take Sparky aside and have some discussions about, common social cues and encouraging his independence and those sorts of things.
He will nod enthusiastically to everything.
Excellent.
Ask, the odd question, which would come up, in naive ways, and I have to sit here and think about how he can misunderstand everything.
Oh, fun. Excellent.
Not everything.
And once we're on the road a little bit, old Knell's going to be looking for Ulnan. Just to say, now, Ulnan, lad, I might owe you a bit of apology, because when we went to see the council, I brought them your tidings of the orc and aquatic elf and other Griblies banding together to attack Nordgard, and, well, it seems like some of your concerns were very well founded, because they just didn't seem concerned or to care. I don't know if it's the lack of proof or if they've just heard it all before, but I don't know. Maybe we caught the slow, not very martial counselors today or something.
Ulnan gives a sigh and shakes his head and says, "If we go back, we know who to keep an eye out."
True enough, and if we do go back, hopefully it's with more proof this next time.
Tia, I had a question. You seem concerned
Yes?
about the vampire, and now we seem to be leaving. Are we no longer concerned about the vampire?
We're concerned about many things, and it's hard to deal with all of them at the same time.
Fighting a vampire right now would be a risk there, Sparky, don't you agree?
Absolutely. What are we concentrating on?
We're going to see, we know another meteor fell by the lake, and we're going to go see who or what that was.
That seems more safe than taking on a vampire. I agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, we continue on our merry way.
Sounds good. So you guys are heading north along the river to get to Daystar Lake. It's going to be slow going because you've got the cart, and it's not nice terrain that you're going over. So you'd estimate that it's going to take you pretty much all day to get to the lake, given the distances that you know.
Could we make a check or run the risk of seeing if skillful driving will get us a bit further ahead, or if unskillful driving will cost us more time?
Sure, yeah. If somebody has proficiency in land vehicles and wants to give me some rolls.
Tia has proficiency in being a passenger.
I have proficiency with land vehicles, so happy to take a risk, although my dice have been pretty cold so far.
That just means more time for storytelling. I hazard to guess someone will need to make that roll for you.
Sorry, was I asked for a roll?
I thought there would be one for you, the vehicle handling.
Yeah, if somebody could roll whatever Ryan asked for me, I apologize, I missed it.
I rolled you an 18 plus whatever bonuses. I don't have your character up. Ryan,
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be good. You can reduce the amount of time it takes to travel north so that it's not nighttime by the time you get to Lake's Edge. You'll still have a couple of hours before dark falls.
Do we see a crater impact?
So you guys get to the edge of the lake, or close to the edge of the lake, and perception checks, please.
And I rolled one for Jesse, and he's a cart right now.
All right. So Ulnan before everybody else, but Deacon and Old Knell not too far behind. You guys hear some splashing in the water before you even get to the shore, and you hear some voices kind of off to the west a little bit through the trees.
Are the voices like kids playing, or are they adult voices, or shouting, fighting?
They don't sound particularly nice. A little bit of a hostile sound to them, yeah.
I will, I'll pull out my crossbow and just kind of like put my hand on Old Nell's shoulder. I think he saw it before me anyway, but just be like, "Yep, time to slow down and let's pay attention over here."
I'm also casting Disguise Self. I'm also casting Disguise Self on myself to make myself look like some other nondescript elf that isn't me.
Okay.
And yeah, following instructions, bringing the wagon to a quiet stop, and waiting for the rest of the party to determine what the initiative is here. What are we doing?
Hey, Old Knell, what do you say we sneak up through these trees and see what's going on?
Are we missing Jesse at the moment?
I'm sorry, was something directed at me? I'm afraid I'm splitting attention between babies and D&D right now.
That's okay. I think Deacon had just asked if you were coming with him to explore.
Yeah, I'll stealth along with you. I'm afraid I can't. My foundry seems to have crashed and it's not really loading, so I'm afraid I'm blind on the map, but I'll follow along quietly. Here's a stealth roll.
21 is really good.
And mine less so.
Yeah.
Okay, I've gotten to forage at Daystar Lake Shore now. So what's the play? Are Deacon and Old Knell scouting ahead?
Yep.
And I'm doing poorly at it, by the way.
Yeah, Old Knell, you'd hear Deacon coming up behind you pretty easily.
I missed your roll. What'd you get, buddy?
A 5.
Ooh. The voices that we're hearing, can we pick out a language or anything?
What languages do you speak?
Elvish, Common, Orcish.
Nothing that you know. But you can give me an intelligence check.
I've got Goblin and Halfling.
Okay. In that case, you do hear Goblin being spoken.
Partner. Looks like we have some goblins up there. Can I make out what they're saying at all, or I just know that it's goblin?
No, you recognize bits and pieces that you hear, but you're too far away to eavesdrop on them or to fully understand what they're talking about.
Cool.
Well, if you talk their lingo, what's the play here, mate? Like, I could sneak up and deco a few of them. I could try and lure them over here.
Why don't we just see what they're doing? Let's see if we can get close enough and see what their intentions are.
Make a deal with you. You do that honest blokery, and I'm going to be nearby, ready to strike.
I reckon that's a good plan. And since I'm not being very stealthy at the moment, I'm just going to try and come up on their camp, not from like the middle of the trees, like from a path or something that I can find.
You could come up along closer to the water. It's pretty clear up there.
Okay, I can't really see too much of the map, so that's what I will do.
Oh, okay. Let me change the lighting levels here so you can see, because it's not nighttime. I had planned on you guys getting here at night, so I need to change that.
And could I roll my 21 stealth forward to just sort of sneak along the tree line so that I'm close to close to Deacon, but perhaps hidden?
Sure. Okay, you should be able to see better now.
Indeed, I can. Yeah. So I guess I'll move up to about there, and like if I'm not noticed yet, and I'm not trying to be very stealthy, but if I'm not noticed, I'll see if I can figure out what they're doing.
You see one of them kind of poking around a fire pit, trying to get things started. You can give me a perception check for anything else that you'd see. Okay, through the holes in the closest tent, you can just barely make out that there's a goblin in there as well. And then at the far tent, you can see a goblin kind of hunched in the doorway. Looks like he's gnawing on something. And
Question for you.
And that's all you see. Yes, Michael.
Would I require a stealth check if I wanted to advance to about that point?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you head out that way. And I already rolled a very poor perception check. So the Deacon, as you are coming up, the goblin that's working on the fire looks up and sees you and cries out in alarm.
In Goblin, I'll say, "Whoa, hold! I'm a friend, and I just want to talk."
Can you give me a persuasion check?
Likely.
Okay. The goblin says, "You know, friend. You know, look like goblin."
And that means I'm not a friend? I'm just a traveler. You look like you have a warm campfire.
And one of the goblins runs off behind the larger tent near the trees and disappears from view, while another goblin comes out of the closer tent, and he's got like a scimitar in front of him, and a shield, and he's looking at you warily.
I'm trying to see if I can find any indication what they're doing here. Like, are they just traveling and fishing and whatever, or are they trying to hide something, kind of a thing?
You can give me an insight check.
Man, let's roll.
You don't see like any fishing equipment or anything like that, or any hunting gear beyond the bows that they carry. You don't see any fresh kills in the area or anything like that. What you do see are weapons on the ground, larger weapons than what you'd expect goblins to be using. And you can see kind of pools of water on the ground between the fire pit and the lake. And so that's what you'd get from that.
In Goblin, I'm gonna say out to them, would you guys mind if I shared your fire tonight?
Persuasion check. We ask bosses. If bosses say okay, then I guess okay.
Oh, all right. Who's your boss? Can I talk to them?
We see. And while you're talking, All of a sudden, out in the water, you see a goblin break the surface of the water and gasp for air.
I'm going to do I know where old Knell is? Like, can I see him in the trees over there?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to note that, and I'm going to take a couple of steps back.
Okay. The goblin says, "Yes, boss," and he goes to the larger tent.
I will just wait until I see what plays out here.
Okay. You don't see anything from your vantage point. Old Knell, you would see a burly orc come out of the tent and start talking to the goblin. He's none too polite about it. He's telling the goblin that he and the other goblins are being way too loud. This is supposed to be a secret, and they're going blabbing around so loud that everyone across the lake would hear them. Deacon, I don't believe you understand Orcish, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't understand. You just hear this guttural language being yelled from behind one of the tents. And as you're listening to this goblin that broke the surface comes swimming over, and you can see he's holding up his hand and waving it excitedly, and saying, "Me find! Me find!"
All right. I am going to see if I can just... Actually, no. I'm going to wait and see what this goblin that asked the boss comes back to say to me.
Okay. They all seem rather distracted by the return of the goblin from the water, and they all run towards the shore's edge, and you see the orc follows them.
Okay, at that point, when they're distracted, I think I'm going to see if I can stealth away, like to the trees just to the south.
Okay, give me a stealth check at disadvantage.
Well, I didn't roll disadvantage, but that'll fail me, so there you go.
Could I use this opportunity to use the very good distraction that Deacon is giving me to stealth in closer?
Sure, give me a stealth check. And you can give me a perception check, Old Knell.
It's sunrise out, right? Do I roll a disadvantage?
Yes. Although you're in the shade of the trees, and it's getting later, so it's not like super bright sunlight. So we'll say no. So as you start making your way stealthily towards the tents, you see a couple of goblins hiding in the trees, and they are watching Deacon as he makes his way into the tree line.
How many?
2 that you see.
Deacon can handle himself with 2 goblins. I'm going to continue moving closer, just to the very edge of the bush, not quite stepping out yet, trying to listen into what the orc and goblins are saying.
Okay. The goblin gets to the shore and holds out his hand, and in the muck you can see something shining there in the firelight that from the fire that the goblin had just got going to cook their dinner. And the orc looks down at the goblin's hand, brow furrowed, and says, "How many now that we got? Me got 1 and 1. Him got 1. Yeah, 1. Him got 1. You's got 1, and you's got 1. We's got. How many is that? How many we's got? Is that all?" And the goblin kind of gibbers away. You don't understand what he's saying, but the orc says, "Me tired looking. Me think this all. They say look for what they say 5. Yeah, they say 5. We got 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. Is that 5? Oh, close enough. We go back now. Well, we eat first, then we go back. We bring back treasures. Yeah. And he waves what to your eyes is a rather magnificent-looking hammer in the air, and the goblins put up a cheer.
Okay. Well, I know where Deacon is. Can I stealth back to him?
Yep. I'll need another stealth roll. Okay, no problem. The two goblins that are in the woods are still fixated on Deacon and don't notice you as you head back.
Okay, so I'll ghost up to Deacon and just say, right, they've got like 5 God's tools, and doesn't feel right just going ahead and cutting their throats while they sleep, but I don't know if this is necessarily the type of folk we want to leave them with. That being said, I don't know if we have any right to these things just because we want them, so why don't you go back and get the crew, and I'll keep an eye on this situation. You speak the lingo, maybe we can handle this peacefully. Maybe even ask Tempest what he wants to do. I don't know. I'm not sure how to handle this. Doesn't feel right just taking it from them by force. They haven't offered us any insult or injury yet.
I'm going to just listen to this. I feel a little caught off guard because I didn't see him coming up, but I recognize what's going on, and I'll just wink and tip my hat a little bit, and then I'll start walking back towards the group. And I assume I see Ulnan up here, and then I'll fill him in. Can I roll a perception to see if I see those goblins?
You sure can.
If they're back with a group, can I too?
Well, so far he's gone as far as Ulnan.
Okay, sorry.
Deacon, you do hear something from the trees behind you as you're walking. It's very faint.
I feel like I would probably understand that those are goblins from the camp trying to sneak up on me. So I'm going to just sort of whisper to Ulnan and say, I reckon there's some goblins in them trees watching us. Let's be careful.
As if waking up from a trance, Sparky's been thinking about the intricacies of social etiquette and seems to have not a clue where he is and what is going on.
So I'm going to kind of gesture to Ulnan that we go back and get the group, and then I'll start walking that way. And unless anything happens in that time, I'll fill the group in on what's going on. I'll tell them that we think that this group has 5 of the god artifacts, and I think there's some goblins watching us in the trees. We're not sure if we should take them out or not. What do you guys think?
Did you see what these things they're collecting, what they look like?
Ryan, did I see the hammer when they were waving it about?
You would have, yes. And you would have noted that it looked quite nice.
I'm going to look right at Tempest and say, I saw a very fancy hammer. I don't know what kind of weapon you use, but that sure seems like it might fit you.
Would Tia know of what gods might use a fancy hammer?
You can give me a difficult religion check.
She's got no idea.
No, definitely not. At that news, Tempest grips his weapon, white-knuckled, and says, "It doesn't sound like my weapon, but it sounds like one worth fighting for."
Well, why don't we head up there and see if we can talk some sense into these folk? They haven't shown us any aggression yet, so I don't see any reason to kill them.
Yes, if they will hand them over peaceably, that would be fine by me.
Can one of you describe what they look like, what the item looks like, in as much detail as quickly as possible?
All I saw was a really nice-looking hammer. It was shiny. It was definitely a masterwork weapon.
Okay.
And I guess I'll nod to the group and kind of motion back. And I'm going to, particularly on my way back, I'm going to walk close to the tree line over here with an eye out for seeing if I can see these whatever's following us or watching us.
Oh boy. Yeah, give me a perception check. Yeah, as you start heading in that direction, you see a couple of goblins turn tail and run back deeper into the trees before re-hiding themselves.
Did they ever catch my eye at all?
No, basically, as soon as you turned around and started walking this way, they were like, "Whoa!" and took off.
I'm just gonna look at the group, and I'm gonna hold up 2 fingers, and I'm gonna say under my breath, like quietly, "Goblins," and I'll point at where they were ish, and then like continue up towards the encampment.
I don't know how to unselect the cart.
I'll just delete it. Sparky, would you have used a hit dice on your travels to the north to get some hit points back? You're currently at 4 out of 18.
Yeah, I suppose. Seems that I'm bleeding all over everybody.
I would have encouraged you to. Sorry, I didn't notice that earlier.
Yeah, he would take that encouragement.
Okay, so you're at 8 out of 18.
She might have encouraged you to try that again if you were able to.
No, you only had 1.
Wait, why? What did it roll?
Yeah, I rolled it because I don't see you in
Can you hear
the
me?
forge.
Yep.
Oh, I think I can split it through. I was gonna roll it through D&D Beyond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that if you want.
I got a 10, so that puts me at 14.
Well,
And it showed up in the.
Yeah, I saw it. Well, that's a lot better.
It's amazing the difference an hour can make.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Tempest is walking purposefully with Deacon.
Tia is following because he seems like a good person to travel with.
I imagine Sparky will stay right near Tia.
She's happy about that too.
And I would move up to the point where old Knell, where he talked to me. I'm not sure if he's still there exactly, but I will move up to there and just he'll obviously see me. And I will try and stealthily say like, "All right, let's make our play."
Yeah, all right. And I'll move into the bushes, sort of positioning myself here. I'll give you another stealth roll.
Thank you. Why did I bother rolling? They can't beat a 24.
By the way, Ryan, yeah. I'm tethering off my phone because my internet is dead.
Okay.
So I can't seem to get into the from the
Okay. Yeah, you were really breaking up a lot there, but I think I understood what you're saying, that you can't get into Forge.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, now you're clear.
Okay. That was directly me trying to get onto the Forge to kills it, so I won't do that anymore.
Okay.
Can we just assume your character is near Tia until we have reason not to?
Absolutely. You just
And then I guess
tell
from
me when to
here,
swing.
like if we're moving, I will move up to the front of the tent, and I'll try and take point, probably with Tempest, I suppose, and approach the camp, trying to look friendly, of course.
Okay. You can give me a, I guess, performance check or persuasion check, whichever you prefer.
Well, both are equally not good, so let's do performance.
Is one of those 3 the orc?
No. So as you guys come around the fire, they see you, and the goblin that you were speaking with earlier looks wide-eyed at you, and it's like, "Oh yeah, me forget you."
And I'm going to put my hands up, sort of submissively, and be like, "Listen, friend, we just want to share your fire tonight."
And you can hear him muttering to himself, "Supposed to be secret." No, I don't think I don't think you come by our fire.
Secret,
Boss?
friend.
Boss say no.
But friend, there's no secrets in the On the frontier like this?
Oh, yeah. Big secrets.
Oh, big secret. Well, like what kind of secret is it?
Can Tia see any of the potential shiny things?
This one north of the fire appears to be wearing a shiny ring,
Okay,
and that's the only shiny thing that you see here.
thank you.
I'm gonna grab Sparky's arm and just gesture him to follow me, and I'm gonna walk right up to the fire, right up to this goblin, this first one up here.
Okay.
As you walk over, he runs around to the far side of the fire.
Whoa, friend.
Boss, say no!
Well, let me talk to your boss then, man.
I'm going to actually follow he and Tempest fairly closely, and I'm going to follow in a manner that they are kind of between me and other people, concealing what I'm doing to some degree.
And I'm gonna try and have pulled Sparky along or gestured him along in some way that he's like beside me.
And she'll nod for Sparky to go, if Sparky wants to.
And as those two goblins sort of position themselves around
Thanks, Mom.
Old Knell at the periphery, Old Knell would like to do some chicanery and try to pick up the one that's sort of behind the other one, like just quietly and silently knock him out.
Okay. You do note from this close vantage point that the goblin that you're about to attempt to knock out is wearing black leather armor that looks much, much nicer than anything the other goblins are wearing.
Perfect. Hopefully that is not going to protect it as I knock it out stealthily from behind.
Do I have to roll stealth? Because I got disadvantage on that.
What are you stealthing for?
Oh, I thought I was going with Knell.
No, with
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
With Deacon asked you to
Deacon. Yeah. I'm sorry. I got the two
And
confessed.
and the rest of us are, hey, don't mind us.
One of the goblins says, "Yeah, me get boss.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Boss. We got company." And Old Knell, you hear in Orcish, "Oh, we use good stuff. Fight 'em, boys."
Yeah, I'd definitely like to knock that one out now, please.
Yeah, you can do that before combat begins.
I also heard that. Did I hear where it was coming from?
Do you speak Orcish?
I do.
Yeah, that was coming from the big tent.
Query: Do I get advantage on the attack on behind him because he doesn't know I'm there?
Yes, it is a surprise attack.
Oh, yeah.
That hits and knocks him out.
Okay, so I think that's fair enough for me in that sort of round as I just ganked him quietly, and the one of them sort of positioned. Well, they walked out of the bushes, positioned themselves by the tent, except one of them never made it out from behind the bushes. So, if his friend turns around and looks for him, that's fun and mischievous. Yeah, I guess I feel that's all I can do in the current sort of initiative that's unfolding here.
Man, those dice are bad for me tonight.
Tia coming in hot.
Can somebody move Sparky up beside me, which is where I was trying to get him to...
He was staying back with Tia.
No, I went with
Tia
yeah, I went with him.
He'd agreed to go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I've moved you up.
Thank you.
All right. So the goblins, hearing that they're supposed to fight you guys, this one pulls out his short bow and takes a shot at Deacon. 7's going to miss. So he runs away and hides. This one shoots at Tempest. And 14 misses. Thank goodness you got him some gear. And he runs away. This one also shoots at Tempest and misses. Tia, it's your turn. You just saw these 3 goblins at the campfire take pot shots at your party and then run away behind a tent.
I am going to move to here, to there, and I see a goblin down there, correct?
Yes, you do.
I am going to use Frostbite on them.
Okay.
So that's con save.
DC 14. He fails.
So he takes 3 damage and has disadvantage on the next weapon attack he makes.
Okie doke. Anything else on your turn?
I think that's everything for me.
All right, old Knell, you're up.
Stepping up behind that other goblin, more or less dropping all pretense of stealth. Let's give him a bump on the head.
Does that mean non-lethal damage?
Correct. I think you can ignore the sneak attack damage, but that's not bad.
Yeah, that'll be more than enough.
Yeah, and I think he'll just sort of move back into the bushes, just a little bit, and that's his turn.
I know they're not dead. I'm just marking them as dead so that they get their turn skipped in the combat order.
Old Knell, sorry. Do you have cunning action yet?
Not yet.
Oh, darn. Okay, never mind.
All right, Sparky, your turn.
I would like to kill all of them with one fell swoop.
Well, right now you can't see anybody.
Oh, then that's gonna make it hard. How can I see them so that they? Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at, so you gotta paint me a picture.
I would say, if you can see my measurement here, he'd probably move his 30 feet up to here.
I can't get on Forge, so I can't see anything.
No, I mean the other people, or okay. Ryan in particular. If he could move up to there, that would probably be a good vantage point.
All right.
I'm not sure what he can see now.
What's your passive perception, Sparky?
13. But I'm being active about it. I'm looking for stuff.
Okay, you're going to use your action to look?
Do I have to use my action to look?
Yes, that's using a skill.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. I take it my passive is not showing me anything, right?
What is your passive?
13.
You actually do see 2 goblins.
Okay. What's the range?
One of them is 10 feet away, and the other one is about 20 to 25.
And how much movement do I have left?
None.
Okay, I will firebolt the guy. Has any of them been hit?
No.
Okay, I'll firebolt the guy closest to me, or closest to my friends.
Okay.
Does 13 hit?
13 definitely hits. Oh, wait. What the? No, it doesn't. They have really high armor classes. Why is that?
They're goblins. They're like really dexterous.
Yeah. But they're not using their shields right now. But still, what did you say? 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 misses.
Okay. Well, I'm done.
Okay. Tempest bellows out a challenge and charges forward. And I don't think he has a ranged weapon. So he's going to challenge the boss to come out and face him and hold his action if somebody does get close to attack. The orc is enraged by the challenge and comes out. And he's attacking two-handed.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big swing and a miss. All right, Deacon, your turn.
All right. I will move up to about... And I will take my shots at the orc.
Okay. It hits.
And I'll take my second at the orc as well. And miss that one.
Yeah, that's a miss.
And I believe that will be all.
All right, Ulnan, you're up next.
I'm going to move to there, and I am going to hold an Eldritch Blast for if anybody that is not that orc attacks Tempest.
Okay. Another orc comes out of the tent and flanks Sparky. You can see he's wearing a very fancy-looking helmet with horns on it, and he is going to take a swing with his great axe. An 18 to hit Sparky.
I don't like that.
That hits.
Oof, 14 damage.
And Sparky goes down.
And he misses Tempest and runs away.
That was a targeting Tempest.
Yep, so you do get to attack him first with an Eldritch Blast. But you miss.
Swing and a miss.
Nice try, though. So old Knell you're standing there and you hear this goblin come hightailing it around the tent. He kind of squeaks and says some stuff at the end of his turn. But he is unable to hide because you're looking right at him. Pings Tempest for 5 damage. Old Knell, does a 15 hit?
I'm going to delay and prevaricate because I was away from my character sheet. It does not. My AC is 16 now, suckers.
Good job.
Thank God, eh?
Your AC is still showing up as 14 in Forge, so it must have been updated recently.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we bought him some much better armor.
Studded leather, yeah, I remember. All right, well, good purchase.
So which is the one that Tempest is fighting? Okay, and I'm not supposed to get in the middle of that because he's challenged him, but I will magic missile the other dude that was flanking Sparky.
Sounds good.
Doesn't do much damage. 6 points.
All right. Yeah. Anything else?
No, she doesn't really want to hang out with any of these people.
All right. Old Knell, your turn. You can see 3 goblins in the woods, and that's about it, because everybody else is on the other side of the tent. Well, you can get a partial look at the orc boss there that Tempest is fighting.
Oh, that's fine. Old Knell will pick up the cleanup duty, and I think he'll let his hood fall back so that they can see his real face. And with a manic grin, he'll take 5, 10, 15 steps, and we'll give this first goblin a little bonky-do.
The old Alkabonk.
That is a miss.
Bonus action. Does a 12? No, that's even worse than the first one. Okay, so intimidation doesn't exactly go as planned. I will use the rest of his motion to go 20, 25, 30, just sort of moving around his periphery so that I'm closer to the rest of them. And he's just going to call out, "Daddy's home and you're all in trouble."
Alrighty.
Deacon is just going to let out a chuckle.
Sparky, we need a death save.
Oh, but he can't, can he?
Nope.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
There. Oh, terrible. Sorry, man.
Tempest takes a mighty swing and hits the orc leader.
Side note, Shane, don't let me roll death saves for you.
Oh, I rolled one.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I rolled a 6. So,
Well, I beat you. I rolled a 7.
yeah.
And I think that's all he's going to do for now.
No, I'm going to bleed as well. Well, leak.
And the orc boss misses Tempest. So now it's Deacon's turn.
I'm going to continue shooting at the orc boss. That's got to hit.
Yep. And that drops him.
And I'll take my second shot at the other orc.
Okay.
Does it do it as
That
well?
also hits.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's enough to drop him too.
Oh, yeah.
Just exactly enough.
Actually, I will move a little bit. There you go.
All right, Ulnan, it's your turn.
I will move to there. I will touch Sparky, and I will heal him for 1d6.
Okay.
That was supposed to be only one of them, but they were both 6s. So 6 hit points for you, Sparky.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anything else on your turn?
The two over here are pretty obviously unconscious.
Yep.
That will be it for me.
This goblin is going to disengage and run and shoot. Old Knell, we already know a 14 misses.
Muahaha.
And a 15 misses.
Did that little bugger leave my threatened zone?
He disengaged first.
Ah, okay, because he's a sneaky little goblin. Okay. Yeah, he misses as well.
And a 17 hits.
Correct.
For 3 damage. All right, Tia, your turn.
She saw that one go that way, so she's moving over there and magic missiling him.
Okay.
It's really slow to come through. So 12 magic missile damage.
That goblin is very dead. Anything else on your turn?
She'll move a few steps back the direction she came.
All right, old Knell.
Hey, you guys. Sorry to interrupt. My ex just showed up and is going to take the kids right now, so I'm just going to step away for a few minutes. When my turn comes up, I'm just going to shoot at whatever is alive for the enemies.
Okay.
I'm so glad he added that last little bit.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to move close so that I can be in 10 crossbow range.
Okay.
So old Nell's gonna stride up 30 feet right there. And rather than stabbing one of them, like they've borne witness to their friends all dying, so I think he's gonna give them his very best acid-scarred smile, and he's gonna say, "Who wants to be daddy's good little boy, and who needs a spanking?" Can I try intimidation to bring them both into heel?
Sure.
Okay, laughing made me cough a lot right there.
That's it.
Yep. They drop their bows, put their hands up, and they're just trembling in terror.
And I'm gonna point back to the fire and tell them to march. And is that enough to end combat?
Yep.
You realize this is doing nothing to alleviate any of the stranger stereotypes of the drow, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm taking on a friendly paternalistic nature.
Yeah, because you offered to daddy them.
Correct. Okay, so we're gonna march them back, and I'm gonna just say, okay, what are my good boys' names? That's directed at the goblins.
I know.
And
me,
what's their backstory?
me Luga, him Mega.
Does Nell speak Goblin?
Nope, I speak orc.
You speak common, and they do too.
And I speak. No, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna put them on body fetching duty, getting the two unconscious goblins that I knocked out in the bushes and pulling them back. Supervised, of course. I'm gonna be right on top of them the entire time.
Okay, I was gonna say they're gonna book it as soon as they're out of range.
No. And then I'm also gonna tell them to turn over all of the shinies that they found, and that they can hand those into Daddy.
And I'm going to casually mention just how far a magic missile can shoot.
They cooperate rather nicely, and in the end, you have a pile of shinies.
What are the shinies?
And this is why I did an Excel file, so I can filter by location and get all of them immediately. All right. There is on the orc boss a bag and a warhammer. On the other orc, there's a helmet, and on one of the goblins, there's some black leather armor, and on the other goblin, there's a ring.
Okay, I think we should spend some time with those things. I asked Tempest if he knows of any of them, and actually, Ryan, do I recognize any of them belonging to any particular god?
You could give me some difficult checks if you'd like. For each item, so DC 20, or you could just wait for Tempest to tell you.
Oh, does he know what they all are?
Yeah.
Well, then I'll just wait.
Right. All right. So the black leather armor, bears the symbols of Baal, Bhaal.
Oh my.
Yep. A god known for violence and ritualistic killing. The next one, the helmet is it belongs to Murgafi, god of beasts and storms. The ring belongs to Glathor, god of liches. The bag is a bag of moon dust that belongs to Selûne, the goddess of the moon. And the warhammer belongs to Tyr, a god of justice.
I asked Tempest if he knows what happens if, for example, the bag of moon dust is used and then no longer available. Does that mean Selûne is just doomed?
I'm honestly not sure, but I would be surprised if the moon dust had a limit. I imagine its uses are infinite.
Ah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Alas, none of my items are in this stash. It's a pity.
Do you happen to know what any of these things do? I assume we definitely don't want to use that black leather armor.
The items themselves are, well, they're not cursed. You can feel free to use any of them. As mortals, I was told that you will gain a minor boon from using one of them. And should you gain a second of the same god, both items will become stronger when they are used by a single person. And so on and so on. Each god has 4 items in the world. And if you were to gather all 4, you would be a terrifying power to be reckoned with.
Also, you would have a very large target on you by the god that they belong to, correct?
Definitely. However, that god would be very weak compared to you, as we gain strength from finding our artifacts.
Unless they found 3 and you only found 1.
Yes, in which case they would definitely want to find you to claim their final artifact. They give mortals great power combined, and that power is multiplied if the god who owns them has them all.
Well, she'd like to spend some time trying to figure out what each of them do.
I was going to say, I think
Unless
if
Tempest
everybody wants to grab an item, we could do a short rest to figure out like a quality of the magic item. Anybody can grab one that speaks to them.
She'll grab the ring.
Who's still injured?
Mostly Sparky and Tempest.
Tempest is fine. He just used a hit dice.
I'm not going to lie, that leather armor is probably best for me or Deacon because I think we have the best decks.
One of you should explore it then and find out what it does.
I did just spend a bunch of the party's money on good armor, so Deacon, do you want to give it a shot?
I'm wearing a chain shirt. So, my armor class is 16 already. So, I don't know, you probably have a better dex than me. You might benefit more.
I have a 19, so I'm just +4 until I get to, level 7 when I get my first feat.
I'm only +3, and I'm at the limit of my dex benefit, so I think probably it'll benefit you more.
Okay, then at the very least, I will take it for a short rest to learn what its qualities do. So that's the ring, that's the leather armor. We still have the helmet of Murgafi, the bag of moon dust, and the warhammer of Tyr. Anybody
I'll
of
grab
you
the
wants
helmet.
it? Okay, Shane's got the helmet.
I'll take the
That's
moon dust.
Okay.
Unless if we have a druid, we don't have a druid, right? And there's no druids.
Nope.
No druids.
Nope.
Okay.
And Shane gain 11 hit points before our short rest.
Okay. Thank you.
And Deacon,
Okay,
would
well
you
then.
like to investigate the warhammer then?
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, you go ahead Mark, you go ahead and do the warhammer.
Sure, I'll investigate it. I'm not much of a melee guy, but I will check it out anyway.
I think this is mostly a gathering information.
And as we do a short rest to figure out the qualities of these items, old Knell is going to ask his little goblins, before they became Daddy's good little boys, who were they working for?
Just 1 second here. I am transferring items from the dead bodies to you guys. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Oh, yeah. Tia, you should see a ring in your inventory now.
On D&D Beyond or on Forge?
On Forge.
Hey, for anyone who might be able to help me, I updated my character on D&D Beyond when we repaired the armor, and my armor class is actually 1 less than it should be. How do I update that for here?
When you say 1 less than it should be, if you click into the armor, does it still have an override on it?
Not on D&D Beyond, but on Forge it does. So I have a -1 to my chain shirt.
Okay, so if you go to the actors tab on the top right of the screen there, it's like a little person indicator. It'll be third from the left. And then click into the Second God's War PCs folder, and then double click on the Deacon Liadrian tab to bring up your character sheet. When you click into your character sheet, there'll be like your name, and immediately to the left of it, there's like a D&D Beyond box. Then there's like a URL at the top of that sheet that should pop up as to what your character sheet is. And from there, you can do an import of your character sheet to update your Forge sheet with your very latest D&D Beyond sheet.
I will give that a try, and I don't seem to be able to. Sorry, I am not super technically awesome.
Sorry, as busy doing item juggling there. I'm done now. All of you if you look in your character sheets in Forge, should see the items now. Deacon, what are you trying to do?
He was trying to refresh it, but he may not want to since you just added this information to Forge. His armor is still damaged, even though it was repaired, so it's working in D&D Beyond, but it's still damaged in Forge.
Oh, gotcha. Let me see if I can fix that in here.
Like, it's not a huge deal. It's just at a -1, so I can just put it. I can just know it's at 17 instead of 16.
There, should be fixed now.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And
Old Knell, you had. Go ahead.
And Shane just sent a message on Discord there. What does the helm do? Sorry.
We don't know yet. We're gonna sit and identify him, but I was thinking that the things that the Warhammer really is not useful to you. I was thinking the helm might be.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's switch then, because I agree. Because I'm probably never going to use it.
Yeah. Okay. Unless the Warhammer makes sense to somebody else. Is there a cleric here?
I have no interest in using the Warhammer.
Okay.
It's bigger than Tia anyway.
I see the notes that you've provided for the item. Do I gain intrinsic knowledge of what collecting the set would do for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Old Knell will tell the party that the armor makes you scarier, gives you a bonus to intimidation, and the more you get of the rest of Ball's set, the more protective the armor itself becomes.
Tia will let... Oh, are you done?
Yes, go ahead.
Tia will let you guys know that the ring with one piece makes you more persuasive, and additional pieces make you better at avoiding things, so i.e. better at saves.
Ulnan's eyes go a little bit wide hearing that, and then he gives a little smile as he says, "This dust, it appears that it makes one wiser, and it helps them understand Arcana much better."
And Tia's eyes light up at that.
Or you just have to do a rail of it, or what?
I'm sure.
Deacon will let everybody know that after he studied the helm, he's discovered that it gives you a clarity on how to pilot water vehicles.
Oh, interesting. And we'll look at Sparky to find out what the one he's holding does.
I don't think I've gotten any messages.
It's in your inventory in Forge. Oh, but you don't have Forge. Yeah, let me see if I can copy and paste this to you then.
Thanks. Remember, some of us are Forge challenged.
Forgeless.
Okay, so this is a heavy metal hammer capable of being wielded by a single hand with a shield or in two hands, delivering crushing concussive blows. One piece gives you plus 2 insight. 2 pieces gives you +1 wisdom. 3 pieces give you +1 wisdom. 4 pieces give you skill in an expert feat. Gives you the bonus skill expert feat. Oh, the bonus skill expert. Yeah, okay. All right.
What is Tempest doing as we're exploring these?
He's looking out over the lake, deep in thought.
Tempest?
Yes.
Sorry to take you from your ruminations. Other than these drawing targets on our foreheads, essentially, from their rightful owners, would there be any other complications of these being used by mortals.
No. They have the powers that you have discovered, nothing more, nothing less.
Good to know.
What I do know is that this means 2 of these gods are near.
Oh.
I don't know which 2 gods, but 2 of them will be somewhere in the vicinity, and we had best hope it isn't Baal, Murgafi, or Glathor.
So one of your items likely fell near you as well?
Yes, we simply don't know where yet.
I might have a lead on that. The Goblin Counselor hinted at him possibly having a god's item and being willing to part with it for a dear price. Could be a load of bollocks, too.
Might be worth a look.
Even if the goblin doesn't have it, it would be worth looking into. I imagine news of such sightings will travel quickly, and if other items are found soon, we'll hear of it.
Well, this ring is probably more useful in somebody else's hands other than mine. Although that dust is quite interesting to me. Who would like to use this ring?
Ulnan makes a gesture very similar to a raising of a hand.
Okay. Are you up for swapping?
I am.
Just like metagaming, Ryan, if we were to be piloting a water vehicle, what kind of check are we rolling?
There is a specific proficiency in water vehicles that you can get, and that would add. I can't remember if it's intelligence or wisdom plus your proficiency bonus if you have that skill.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, what stat it was. I will see if I can find that quickly. Cool.
And as we're sort of displacing these items, old Knell is going to give his new goblin lackeys a little nudge and is going to say, like, before you became daddy's good boys, who were you working for?
We work for boss, and they both point at the dead orc.
Who does the boss work for? Did work for?
Oh, boss's boss. Yeah. Scary. Really scary guy.
I mean, I'm guessing that Ulnan would have mentioned this, but Flesh Ripper tribe, right? They were the big tribe of orcs that were gathering people together. So old Nell's just going to say, was a Flesh Ripper tribe?
Yeah.
Mates, we might have gotten in trouble.
Ulnan noticeably tenses at that admission.
Boss's boss use magic.
Yeah, what kind of magic? What kind of spells does he do?
Scary magic. Boss's boss make weapons out of nothing. Just appear, start whacking goblins. Real scary. And the other goblin says, Me see boss's boss. Point and tell goblin to do something, and they do it. They just whatever he say. Very powerful.
Fair enough. How many people does he hang out with?
Oh, he in main orc camp.
Is it nearby?
Not super far. You hear of a lake of gatherings?
I don't know. Have we heard of the Lake of Gatherings?
You guys would have. Yes, you would have come by it in your travels south to Nordgard.
And how far away was it?
You would say 3 or 4 days travel.
Just as an aside, it looks like vehicle handling is a wisdom stat.
Okay, good to know.
Old Nell's going to ask the goblins if the boss was sending anybody after any more meteors that they know of.
Boss's boss?
Yeah, they're not as good as Daddy Boss.
Well, we sent out on boat to look. We found out from other goblins nearby that Meteor Fallen Lake But yeah, boss's boss also send out other goblins in other directions.
What directions? Where to?
All directions.
So presumably, guys, there's meteors all over the north that are now being raced to. Can I try and intimidate them and say, who wants to be Daddy's favorite? Where's the nearest site? And I'm pulling out a knife a little bit menacingly.
And I'm going to try and help him. So I'll walk up beside him and just like polish my crossbow, like polishing your gun.
I'll play good cop.
So that intimidation at advantage, maybe?
I'll
Yes,
just let
no?
them know they really want to be his favorite. He treats that one so much better than the rest.
You can give me an intimidation check. And are you wearing that black armor of Baal now?
No, I'm not.
All right. And does that scarring that you got affect your intimidation?
I believe you said it gives me advantage, plus I think Deacon was helping, so I'll give you another roll.
Okay.
So I guess just for clarification, the conversation that was just happened with the intimidation that didn't quite work, is there any more happening after that? And I suggest using here.
It's not so much that it didn't work. The insight checks were to see which one of them would react the fastest. Because at this point they're suitably intimidated. So a 13 is plenty good enough to keep them that way. But I wrote their names in here. Mega would have been the fastest to say that he wants to be the good boy daddy.
That was a twist I didn't anticipate things taking tonight.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
I would say old Knell has had an interesting past.
Oh, yes.
I take it I don't know the half of it, huh?
Oh my god. The file that he wrote with everything that's happened to his character is crazy.
The file to whose character?
Yours.
What? Okay, well, baby is down, so I should be back permanently now. What's been happening?
A break?
A break. Yeah, we literally just started talking again.
About which one responded to you quickest and wants to be the best boy?
Well, very good. Yeah, I did not expect to be a daddy to a bunch of goblins, but here we are.
Yeah, Mega reacted the fastest, saying that he wants to be the best good boy to Daddy. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this has anything to do with like old Nell's last go around with goblins, but I think something about it all just seems right.
We were just
Right.
talking about the fact you might have had an interesting past.
Ryan, would you swap ownership of one ring and one bag of moondust?
Oh, have I
For
not
us?
done that yet? No, I haven't. Okay.
And I still think that you, Ulnan, should take the ball armor because you're already good at proficiency, or excuse me, good at intimidation, and this is worse than my current AC would be if I use this stuff. And you as a warlock are proficient with light armor. Come on, Mike.
Me trying to get my greasy paws on two things, I would prefer a consensus, I suppose, before something like that were to happen.
I mean, I think that the only real candidates for this are you, myself, and Mike playing Deacon. So, or not Mike, Mark. Two of you are going to give me conniptions. So, I mean, Deacon already said he doesn't want it. So I think that leaves you, man, because like I can wear it. It's just not the best thing for me is all.
And I generally am of the opinion I'd rather stuff was used well by the person who can use it best. That protects my character and keeps my character alive the best.
Exactly. There'll be goodies for me later.
So I'm swapping the black leather armor over to Ulnan as well?
Please do.
It is done.
Besides, the idea that your angelic patron is going to get conniptions because you're wearing armor from the god of murder is just too good to pass up.
You have a mischievous streak to you, huh?
What can I say? I'm inhabiting the character of old Knell.
Oh, that's what this is. I assume you guys are also going to search the camp.
Yes.
Okay, I will copy and paste what's there into Discord.
Rations. Mike didn't have to buy them.
So, question for you, Ryan. These all have stuff written into them. I'm assuming you didn't build the items so that they automatically work on the character sheet?
In D&D Beyond, you mean?
Anywhere.
Oh, no, they don't automatically add those bonuses to your character sheet if you equip them.
Cool.
I don't know how to do that.
Fair enough. I was just double checking on that. So if I spend some time and figure it out, can I make mine and put it on D&D Beyond?
For sure.
I think I probably can't because I no longer have a subscription, but if I can, I will try and figure it out. A 10-foot loop of steel chain. I have a feeling somebody in this group's going to want that.
What? Oh, from the loot.
Yep.
If that shade being tossed at me because of my new daddy persona, the answer is absolutely not. Because that would be way too heavy for old Knell's feeble little arms to carry.
It's only 2 pounds.
I believe with all the knives I'm carrying, I am right to the limit of my capacity.
Old Nell's more the silk rope type anyways.
Garou.
I feel like I was going to make a group list for us. Did I not do that somewhere?
I thought Mike was handling the
Maybe he did.
loot.
Was I?
Uh-oh.
I think that when we first got all those treasures, Mike did handle it as a matter of just a temporary kind of sheet that we promptly spent most all of the money on. But we really ought to get a dedicated quartermaster.
I made an Excel or Google Sheets.
There you have it. Care to toss these items on there, Mike?
Look it up.
Are you able to pin that, Ryan, so that we've just kind of got that long term? Thank you muchly.
You're welcome.
Aw, but I am not allowed to edit it.
Did I not have it edited? I'm sorry. I meant to.
I also only have view permissions.
I mean, I was only going to put a jokey entry into it. Now my feelings are hurt.
Pin that one in. Oh, it might be the same link.
Should be. It's the same document. Perfect. Thank you. My mischievous itch is satisfied.
All right. So you had asked about who was in charge, and the goblin told you about the boss's boss. And then I feel like you were going to ask them something else now.
Just if they knew where the closest location was that other search parties had been sent to. I know they said all directions, but who wants to be my favorite and give me another treasure site?
A good close one.
Gotcha. Well, they would say that the boss's boss sent out goblins in all directions from the Lake of Gathering. So there's some going towards. Let me pull up my map here. There were some that were sent north to Foul Rot Lake. There were some that were sent. They were sent south to Daystar Lake. There was another group sent southwest to Corpse Float Lake. There was another group sent west to Crimson Lake. And there were some sent east, northeast to the 3 lakes of Mubalat Holgoraz, and other locations as well. But those were the ones where the boss's boss told them to go.
Do we know which of those lakes is closest?
From where you are, well, they would tell you that Corpse Float Lake is the closest. It's northwest of where you guys are, probably a couple days travel.
Also, I can't remember what we were told. Did Tempest tell us that the items were falling close to him or just randomly across the world?
At least one will be close to him, of his.
Yeah. So they are just randomly all over the world, usually at sites of importance for some reason or another, not necessarily to the gods, but to local history or whatever. and so they're just all over the place.
Well, I reckon maybe we should check out the closest fall. Might be our man's weapons.
When were you told to leave? When did the people who went to Corpse Float Lake leave?
Oh, we all left one day ago.
So they're one day ahead of us, basically.
Yeah, we take boat downriver, real fast.
Do you still have your boat?
No.
Where'd it go? That's sad.
Yeah, other goblins take. Keep going.
Friendly goblins or rival goblins?
Friendly goblins. Lots of us pile in boat. Little dangerous. So many goblins and orcs, but fastest way to go.
Okay, so then that gives us a few options. We could either try going, following the river. It flows south, right, Ryan? It flows south through Nordgard?
That's right.
So we could either try following the river south to try and catch up with the party of goblins that are going there while heading back to town. Alternatively, we could try heading to this next lake, which would be a day or two travel, to see if we could try and catch out anyone that was searching stuff there. There's no guarantee that they would have been successful in finding it. Maybe they've already gotten there, found the stuff, and taken off. But we could try checking it out.
I'd say we try and catch the ones that are a day ahead of us.
I would agree personally. I'm looking for loot now.
And they can't take the boat back if the river goes one way.
Agreed. And I'm going to try and move closer to the party and away from the goblins and mask what I'm saying. Or say it silently, I guess. And I'm going to say, yeah, but do we leave these fellas alive?
Wouldn't be very good of us to summarily execute them.
But are they going to go ahead and tell their friends and we'll have a nice waiting party on us when we get there?
Or do they keep being old Nell's goodest boys?
I mean, the longer they're with us, the less chance they'll betray us, but they would definitely bear close watching for the next while. I don't know. I would think...
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, they shot on us first. We came with good intentions. I don't think we can trust them.
The last time somebody shot on us first and they were killed for it, I got ugly looks for the rest of the day.
I don't feel comfortable executing a bunch of hapless lads like this, even if they did attack us first. Not after we've already beaten them fair and square. So if it's all the same to you, I'd like to just try and keep a close eye on them until we get to our next destination, and then we can decide if they've done enough to prove themselves loyal, or else we just let them go. Because once we've gotten our hands on the next stash of goodies, I think we're running for home.
I think you're probably right there.
All right, I can get behind that.
You're not alone there.
Oh, bother.
Oh, I own somebody in it. I just can't move them. Well, I can move them. It's just all dark.
Okay, let me find the token for the card here and give it some vision.
I think it's safe to say that we're going to strip the goblins of their weapons and armor and whatever else gear they have. Or I guess at least I will start doing that.
And I will let you. I don't particularly want to strip them myself, but I think it's a good idea.
Seems a solid choice, yeah.
Okay. So do you have vision on the token now?
No, it's all black.
Yeah, for me as well.
I'm reloading to see if that changes it.
I'm doing the same thing.
I currently have a small amount of vision.
I had none. Oh, I now have a small amount of vision. Reloading
Okay.
helped.
Good. I just changed out the token to the a new card token, so it has vision.
Jesse is not in Forge, though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm trying to reload and it's going slow.
And I've reloaded and I still see nothing. I see the lines being drawn for distances.
I see 5 people with ownership. You are an owner, Mike. You should be able to see it.
Reloading one more time.
Downloading world data. Please wait. And the bar keeps loading and loading and loading.
It's very exciting.
Silence. It was a whole new day, I thought. I can see.
And yeah, don't worry about stripping the goblins. Like, old Nell will tell them that Daddy needs all of their weapons and armor, and they'll do it for us.
And do you want them to also strip down the orcs and take all their gear?
Yeah, sure. I mean, carry all of the useful things, but leave anything sharp and pointy behind.
Yeah, I agree. If we have a cart, I don't see why we wouldn't take what we could carry.
Oh man, our mule cart is giant on that map.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, I can see now. Whee!
Vision for everyone. I asked them where they were supposed to take them once I found them.
That is a great question.
So
That's going to get a workout, huh?
I just posted in Discord the gear that the goblins and orcs had on them.
Pile it all in the cart.
Also, while we're traveling, can we take a short or a long rest?
You'll have to. Yeah, it's nighttime. We're getting close to nighttime at this point.
How are we dealing with your friends during the nighttime?
I would expect we'll all take some shifts watching everything. So, like, I'll volunteer for first shift or whatever.
Yep. They join the watch. Everybody gets a goblin buddy who is reporting to them during the watch, and the rest of the goblin buddies sleep. Presumably, the two that we knocked out would have woken up at some point and had the new dynamic of their lives explained to them. So we've got 4 goblin buddies to fetch and carry and do as they're told.
They're untied during sleep, or are we tying them up?
No,
Oh,
3 of them.
I would expect tied.
I would too.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, I don't trust them goblins, my man.
That leaves whoever's on watch watching 4 goblins and the outside. We're not watching something in that case.
No. We seat 3 of the goblins bed down for the sleep with the rest of us, and then 1 goblin stays up with you to do as they're told.
I would feel far more comfortable with them tied up.
And they're all tied up together, back to back, face to face, whatever.
Sigh. Old Nell will ask his good boys if they're going to run away on him in the night.
Mega says absolutely not. He's never been a goodest best boy before, and so he's happy to stay. And Luga says he's willing to see how things go with you as the boss, although he's still scared of the boss's boss and the boss's boss's boss.
I just rolled an insight check to see if I believe them.
You rolled an 18. Yeah, they seem to be pretty honest.
I will defer to Old Nell's wisdom.
Well, and I will point out that there were those 2 other goblins that got knocked out.
Yeah, he's got them Gorkil and Agdul in chat.
Ah, okay. Well then. Yeah, no, so Deacon, do you trust them based on that insight roll?
I wouldn't say I trust them, but I'm going to defer to what you think. Like, if you think we can trust them, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And Old Nell will just nod and say the first one to run away gets his toes snipped off, and my good boys need their toes if they're going to keep working hard for me. Right, lads?
We all want our toes!
So as long as we're not treating them unfortunately and feeding them and doing all that good stuff, I think we can trust them for now. They don't have weapons. Let's just, let's see how it rolls out.
And Deacon's gonna follow your lead.
Yep, they all get to bed down, only one of them awake at a time.
He is pretty hesitant, but
look, you build trust with trust, and Old Nell is sincerely trying to be a good person.
Okay, so who wants which goblin on their shift?
Sorry, I don't see what the goblins' names are, but it doesn't really matter to Deacon. He's just going to grab the closest one to him, and that'll be his.
Okay, so Mega being my bestest, goodest boy, he gets to go with me. I'm going to assign Luga to Deacon, Gorkil to Tia, and Agdul to Ulnan. And because I am an elf, I do only need to transfer 4 hours. So for the first 4 hours, I am going to be awake, just providing a little bit of backup to whoever is on the more serious watch.
I'd like to be first watch then. Thanks.
I would like to be second watch, and I am doing some stuff during the night in amongst my trancing.
I would take third watch, no problem.
Yeah, and I guess I'll round it out. And Sparky, of course, doesn't have to sleep for all of it, so he'd be awake.
Yep. All right. Gonna roll some checks here.
At the start of each watch, I'm doing something.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
I am sitting down beside our little goblin friends, and I am saying very calmly to them, friend, the last person who caused grief to my friend who you are the goodest boys of, I blew a hole through their chest. Don't give me reason to do it to you. And I'm hoping that's an intimidation roll.
Yeah, it sure is. They appear to be suitably scared of you.
The one that is on the watch with me, I don't say that to.
Okay. So, Ulnan, on your watch, can you give me a perception roll, please? So you're keeping watch at night, and the darndest thing, Agdol disappears.
The one I tried to be nice to. Excellent.
Yeah, he's just gone. Like you turn around, and where he had been, there is no more a goblin.
I see.
How about the rest of us? Do we have more success?
Yeah, that's the only goblin that takes off in the night.
I want to say that on my watch, I want to appear menacing to my goblin.
Okay. You can give an intimidation check.
And Deacon's goblin poops himself at some point during the shift.
Yeah, charisma isn't my strong suit, so we'll see.
Tia's going to continue playing good cop and letting her goblin know how smart he was to be good for Old Knell.
I would probably just use that first.
The first roll was a 3. So your goblin, you try to be intimidating, and the goblin doesn't appear to be scared of you, but appreciates the effort and doesn't disappear during the night.
I like the appreciates the effort.
Old Nell's being like nice to Mega, like he's talking to him like he's a person and is like telling him stories, and we're sharing the camp chores like fairly equally. Like, okay, go get that twig, and I'm gonna get this one, and we'll start a fire, and you pick up that end, and like, we're team building. We're treating them like they're part of the party because they are now. They're my good boys.
That was my intention, and look how well it went for me.
Jesse and Old Knell and Tia, if you guys can give me persuasion checks since you're being nice.
Rolling at disadvantage because of my acid scars, so not great.
Really, really terrible. Okay, Tia, you seem to be making some headway with Gorkle, having a bit of camaraderie there. Old Knell, Mega's still really afraid of you, and you're suddenly being nice. He's treating it like you're trying to trick him into lowering his guard. But he's going to do his very best to be his goodest best boy, because he doesn't want to make you angry. He's really scared of you.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. In the morning, upon discovering that we've lost one of our own, Old Nell's just going to quietly apologize to the members of the party and is going to say, I appreciate you trusting me and trying to do right. It's just, maybe it would have been easier if we just killed them all, but doesn't necessarily mean that, easier doesn't mean best, right? Trying to do good here.
I wasn't out for killing, but I thought maybe the tying up would have been a good plan. Let's hope that doesn't come back and bite us, and let's move forward.
And we'll mount up on the cart and ride.
Like the wind.
Like the wind.
Prior to our long rest, I'm showing that Old Knell and Sparky are low on hit points still. Is that the case?
I just haven't hit the long rest button for myself.
And we haven't for Shane either, because we can't.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. And then he's got a Cure Wounds spell that he can use on himself after the long rest. So he's up to full health after getting his 1+ con modifier for the sleep, and healing spell.
Yay!
So with your goblins alongside you, they're not great, but okay at scouting around the cart and making sure things are clear. I don't know if any of you guys want to help out with that sort of thing, looking for trouble while the cart's moving through the woods.
That doesn't seem like Tia's sort of thing.
Deacon would definitely be alert.
Okay. Want to give me a perception check?
Tia's going to be trying to talk to Tempest along the way and find out more about the other gods that may be down here, more about the ones that may be nearby based on the items we found, what the other objects might look like. She is trying to pick his brain for everything she can.
He's not sure what objects every god will have. The only ones that he's sure about are his own, but he doesn't know where they are, obviously. So his items are a saddle, plate armor, a shield, and a battle axe. So as for the other gods, he has no idea. Like, he was as surprised as you guys when he discovered the items in that last stash to see what the other gods had available there.
They expected 5. Will there be 5 every time? Do we know?
That he's not sure about. Maybe. Seeing how the other one knew, I'd say, yeah, he would know that there would be 5 in each, and that 2 of them will be from gods that are close by.
So that'll give us an idea of who's nearby at the very least. Or
I
who
mean, yeah, you know 2 of those 5 will be close. The other 3 could be anywhere else in the world.
So then maybe we'll question our goblins that for the time that they were hunting at Daystar Lake, did they see any other mysterious strangers?
The only strangers that they've seen recently, well, the only stranger that they saw was their boss's boss's boss.
What did he look like?
Yep.
Oh, he's big, ugly, one-eyed orc. So scary. And you can see them shaking at the memory of him.
Metagaming right now, but oh no, Grumsh.
Oh no, Grumsh.
Well, okay. I guess if they didn't see a lich wandering around, then we can maybe breathe easy, but then again, maybe not. Well, does anybody have anything else that they want to talk on as we travel through the day?
Tia will have more conversations with Sparky on, independence and how to behave in society.
I think that might be it.
Okay. So the day goes by uneventfully, and you guys are at the halfway point between Daystar Lake and Corpse Float Lake. You can set up camp. I'm not going to do checks for the goblins anymore for running away at night. That was just a first night type of thing. Especially for Gorkle and Agdul, because they had been knocked out by Old Knell. So they were especially afraid of sticking around. But now that they've been with you guys for a day, they're starting to get more comfortable around you. They're not gonna disappear in the night.
Okay, then we will gainfully employ them with camp chores and, cooking food and watches, but not unduly so. They're taking on an even share. Yeah, might call it like an unpaid internship almost.
And they're happy to help. And the night passes uneventfully.
I love it when we're not dead.
We slog on. Does anybody have any role-playing beats or conversations that they want to settle on through this day?
Yeah, Tia'd kind of like to know a little bit about your history if you're willing to share.
What is she asking?
You seem to have a very interesting effect on people and perspectives on things that I haven't really encountered before. What's your past been like?
I mean, I told you that I woke up not really remembering who I am or what I was. So you know my history about almost as well as I do, really.
And you have some very unusual instincts.
I think old Nell's gonna wince at that. Do you want to give me a persuasion roll and just see how convincing Tia is?
Very medium. I rolled a 10.
Okay, so with a 10, I think old Knell is going to say that he's just going to kind of nod and he's going to say, yeah, it's kind of an ongoing challenge. When I look around and at the people around me and at the world around me, it's like I've got this little devil on my shoulder, constantly assessing and weighing and measuring and trying to determine what everything is worth and saying how easy it might be to take something or how I can try to deceive someone, what lie might work in a situation. It's rather exhausting, to be honest, and I'm kind of nervous about why I have this internal dialogue telling me to constantly be a shifty bugger. So I'm just trying to do my best to not listen to that voice and do the opposite of what it says. And like the angel in the woods told me, I want to be good. I want to do good.
That sounds A, surprising, and B, exhausting.
Yeah.
Deacon was watching this conversation and trying to understand if old Knell was holding something back, and he rolled terribly for perception, so he did not see anything.
And Tia's going to take it all at face value.
Good.
Not necessarily, but it's going to happen.
I think after that, old Nell's going to shoot back with, are you prepared to tell us a little bit why you want to find this Orduna sword and how you just appeared before us, magically as you did?
Well, she hadn't anticipated that.
You're asking after backstories. Turnabout's fair play.
It totally is, but she hadn't anticipated it. She's used to being able to ask people things.
Is Tia hesitating right now?
She sure is.
I'm just gonna give her like a little elbow, not hard, just like a little elbow, and be like, "Okay, come on."
I came through a portal from another place.
And Deacon is gonna noticeably roll his eyes and be like, "Yeah, we know."
Are you not telling us the whole story because it might affect other people that you care about?
Yes, there are people I care about there, and that is also why I'm looking for the sword.
All right. I'm not going to pry any further, but, we've shed blood together. We're going on a crazy adventure together. I hope that sooner rather than later you trust us enough to tell us more.
I do too. And anybody who's trying can tell she actually sounds quite sincere about that.
Okay. Any more chats along the way to Corpse Float Lake?
Old Knell teaches the goblins the 99 bottles of beer on the wall song.
Nice. They're really bad at counting, so, they mess it up a lot, but they enjoy it.
Ulnan occasionally heckles, but it's good-natured.
And Tia hasn't heard this song before, so she's quite entertained.
And as you get close to nightfall and come into view of the lake, you see the silhouette of fortress walls and a fort up on a cliff overlooking the lake.
Do we know what this fortress might be?
Nope.
Does it look hastily made, like it's wooden walls and quickly made, or is it like stone?
If you want to get closer and take a good look at it, like I said, right now it's kind of a silhouette, so you can't get a really good read on it.
Does it look occupied? Is there smoke coming from it?
Perception check?
It'll be an 18 when it gets there.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, it's so slow on my computer. It's like roll and then wait like 4 minutes.
You don't see any smoke or light or anything coming from it.
Okay, thank you.
And you don't see any movement on the walls or anything.
Do we want to explore this or pass around this to get to where we're headed?
Let's take a look around. You said this was on the boundary of the lake, right?
Yes.
Let's look around the lake to see if there's any tracks, like if anybody had to dredge inside the lake, and then we'll head up to the fort after we've looked for tracks. Sound like a plan?
Okay. I'll take survival checks. Okay. Down near the bottom of the cliff, in a secluded little area, you do find a not great boat. It's in pretty rough shape. Goblin made, that's been dragged up onto the shore, and you do see some tracks heading towards the fort. heading up the trails.
Do our goblins recognize this boat?
Not the specific boat, but they recognize that it would be one of theirs.
All right, lads, here's the deal. You look after the wagon and the mules, and when we come back, we'll all go on, keep on together, one big happy family. If we don't come back, and it is instead your mates that come, then I guess you got a new boss. Or rather, I guess we've lost, and you get a new cart. You take off into the wood with our mules, and I'm gonna find you.
Yes, Daddy.
Good boys. And they all get a pat on the head.
They're all very happy about that.
Okay. Then I guess we'll head up to the fort.
As the sun hangs low in the sky, you guys make your way up the trail following the very easy to follow tracks of several goblins and a couple of orcs. Seems to be a similar setup to the group that you found. And as you come up over the top of the hill, you see two dead goblins, their backs to a stone wall, smooth in construction and rounded. You don't see any corners on the wall. It's like it's a giant circle. The gates stand ajar, but these two goblins that have perished have arrows sticking out of their chests. Looks like they were facing towards the woods that surround the fortress.
Huh.
If we inspect the bodies, what do the arrows look like?
They appear to be goblin-made.
Any other discernible tracks around the fort, or just the initial party going in?
Survival check. Old Knell, it looks like there is just chaos here at the gate to the fort. Tia, you see that it looks like some pairs of goblin tracks went into the fort, and two orcs went running into the woods.
Say that again, please, Ryan.
There are goblin tracks that are going into the fort through the front gate, and there are two sets of orc tracks running out into the woods.
Okay, I'll share that.
So it sounds like potentially that the party of treasure seekers was approaching the fort, got attacked by other goblins. The orcs took off into the woods, which makes me a little worried for our boys back with the cart, and it sounds like more goblins went inside, which makes me worry for the goodies.
And which direction did those go?
Would Deacon have ever heard of or know of what gods the goblins worship? I'm trying to discern if there are opposing goblin gods.
You can give me a religion check.
May I as well? Are you musing that out loud or just in your mind?
It would probably be in my mind. Deacon's pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Cool.
And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.
And we're playing tomorrow night, am I remembering correctly?
Definitely not. I still have to finish
I
this
thought
map.
I slid that in really smoothly, Ryan.
That was really good, yeah.